Yo guys, how's it going? So today I'm taking you through ML4U from my Generation Love EP, which just came out on Size Records. Thank you guys for all the comments and the support. It's been fucking awesome. So I'm going to try and take you through as much info on this one as possible, sort of quickly-ish. Right, let's get stuck in. Let's start with the sort of main drop bass sound. This one here. So this started out as a pretty simple patch on Nexus, right? I'm just going to duplicate it so I can show you what the patch was before I started. So I'm just going to take off all of the processing. Open up Nexus. Right, so if I take it back to how it was, like right as the patch was, as it were, turn off all of this and the processing, put the filter back up. It's this, like, pretty crappy, right? So what I did, first of all, I started off with, I'm going to go back up to the non-broken one now. So first what I did was I brought the cutoff all the way down in it, and I put the attack up, and this sort of made a really big difference to the sound. So, and then the main thing I did was I put like an ARP going on a 16. So basically it just goes like, just so it's going da-da-da-da-da-da. And then basically I also added like some like portamento on it, so it goes like, so it goes and bends up and down. And then basically, so like this attack and decay really made the most difference. So if I pull the attack down to like 0, you get like a, but then like putting it up to 20 gave me this, it's really strange. You can hear it go like, you see how like small amount of difference makes like a really big difference to the sound. And then okay, with the filter mod decay as well, it's like makes the notes a bit shorter as well. So that's sort of what I did on the synth side. And then also the processing, you see that's it without the processing. So what we'll do is we'll bring them in one by one, and I'll take you through them all. So first up, Camel Fats, doing my sidechain. Here you can see I've got the master volume set to ramp up at 1/4, and then distortion over here. I've just added a bit of exciter there, nothing too crazy. A bit of PSP vintage warmer. I don't think this is doing anything though. Yeah, it's doing nothing. That's stupid. Now, the main thing, obviously, again, is the guys that have seen a lot of my videos notice that the quadrifiers is my baby. You can really hear the difference. But what it kind of does, you can hear it's like it's really quite mushy and muggy. So what I had to do that next was to bring up an EQ, and I've got the Renaissance EQ. I don't really use this one so much anymore. Really sucking out that middle. I added loads of low end, rolled a bit of top end off, but then I think on the next EQ, I again took more low mid out and also took some sub out and then boosted some top end. So that's very like strange way of doing EQing, but you know when you're working on a sound and like you've got the idea in there, you know what you want to do, and then you just like, okay, that EQ's got me a bit closer, and then you just, you know, so some of the EQ changes might be like reverse of each other, and then we've got another EQ again, but on this EQ, I really tried to get I'm using the left right, the stereo version, what's it called? The EQing the stereo field rather than just everything in one go. So here I've got the left and right out separate, and I was really I really didn't want too much low mid in my stereo field, so I was really trying to take out as much as I can without losing what I liked about the sound, and that's it really. And then I've got a DJM filter, but that's just for the builds, so that gives us like And then what we've got on top, we have a few extra little accents coming in like this. But that's just, again, another Nexus, just some patch in there, nothing too crazy, just a little bit of EQ. It's quite a cool sound already, and it's meant to be really subtle, you know, like maybe it's best to go over here where there's a bit more going on. So that's sort of like what's doing the main like leady parts of the drop. Let's have a look at the low end part of it and see what's going on there. Right, so what we've got here is we've got 2 bass sounds basically. Oh, there's another lead that's on top actually that I forgot, called here, which again it sounds like another SY Bob. There you go, with like a camel fat doing, you know, some sidechain, a little bit of distortion, Quadrifuzz again bringing the party, and then Valhalla just doing a little tight boxy room, and a EQ taking a lot of body out of there. I really didn't want it to conflict with the main lead sound. So that's like the 3 leads in the drop, and then what we've got is we've got like a sub sound here that's like, you probably might not hear that on your laptop or whatever you're listening on, but basically it's a weird like RoboWatt patch in Nexus from the vocoder section, but if we play it without processing, no, the processing is just tidying up the low end. Right, okay, so if I take the filter mod off, so all of these will be back to 0 rather than me resetting them. If I just turn it off, you'll hear what this sounds like. That's what it was like before, and I really liked the tone of it, but I kind of wanted it to be a bit smoother, you know, so I put a lot of attack on and sort of it turned it into this, which I really liked. And then basically my processing was kind of just side chaining here, and then I've got a reverb on the bass. That's bad. Should not do that. Should not have reverb on the bass sound. But as it's not really like, it's not doing the most of the sub. Most of the sub comes from the next synth, and then it was a lot of EQing. You can see here, like I spent a lot of time getting the kick and the subs to, the 2 different bass synths to really work together, because the drop's quite, when it first hits, it's really clean and simple, so like it's got to be really tight. So a lot of the EQ I'm doing is just making it lock in with the kick drum as best as possible. So that's like the wob wob that's in the drop, and then there's also like a main sub, which again you probably won't be able to hear that if you're on a laptop. It's basically, this one here is actually, I've just taken, there's like a patch in here where I've just taken the saw like from a patch and filtered it down, and then what I've done here is I've got the harmonic maximizer here, which you guys have probably seen that I use quite a few times. It really it's basically like generate more sub harmonic frequencies, and you see I've dialed it in at 50 hertz here and added quite a lot of extra sub harmonics there. Again, camel fats, just doing some sidechain, a little bit of distortion as well, which generally doesn't really work on subs, but apparently it's working this time. And then you can see the EQ I've done here. I've just taken out everything of down to like 100, 200 hertz. I just wanted the sub from this sound. I'll try, let's get it without the that's what it sounds like, you know, as it was originally. That's taking it a bit down, so it's taking it off a bit, and then I've just turned it all sub. So that's sort of like those together. So if I just play these few elements, let's get the kick in there, the ARP, so it should just be. So they're like the main elements that make up there's a a layer or two that I'm probably missing. So that's like the main synth there. Shit, we've already been going for 10 minutes just talking about the synths. So let's move on to the break. Let's move over to the breakdown. And what it is, this breakdown's actually really, really simple. Like there's not fucking loads going on. It's basically a piano and a like bass sound and obviously the vocals. So I'm not sure if I think I spoke about this in the Q&A yesterday. Which will be 2 days ago. But basically the whole track came around the vocal loop, and then basically that was me. I had the idea in my head as I can't remember what I was doing, and then basically I just sang the vocal in, like really fucked with it till I got it what I was how I wanted, So basically it's kind of complicated how I've set up the vocals, because there's like so many, it's like the same vocal file, but like I fucked it in so many different ways. So like there's one version that's like, and then there's like a version somewhere, there's like a here. So where's the low octave? I'm not sure how I've set it up. So basically these automations all across the screen here, this is me basically automating like different sections that have the low and the high version of the vocal in at different times. So like certain points I don't want the low vocal there, and then at certain points I do. So for example, when it comes out of the drop here, my love for you will always be strong. You can see I've got the low octave taken out now as an example, and then I've also got like the accorded vocoded version of the vocal, and that's here. My love for you will always be strong. My love for you will always be strong. My love for you will always be strong. And what the vocal's doing here is this version on the top, the chorded version, is following the chord pattern from the piano. So the one thing that really bugs me about that is how dirty it sounds, but that's just how it happens, But so basically, like synth wise, it's just a drone using some Nexus thing. This patch got if you guys want to check it out, there's a really nice like held bass underneath it, a Get a Guitar patch, that's like a really nice patch that you can hold like bass sounds through breakdowns and stuff. And I'm looking for the piano. Shit. And so basically all the break consists of is this bassy sort of sound. The piano, wherever, here it is, we've got the piano now. But the progression itself is 8 bars long, so it can sort of carry with not so many elements. Oh shit, of course, I forgot there's a few other elements in the drop that we've missed that come in on the breakdown. So yeah, those are the elements, and then there's the vocals there. There's like, it's essentially 3 vocals that make it up. So you've got like the low octave, the high octave, and like the chorded vocal. And then what I did forget to talk about earlier was there's like some stabs that come in on the drop. These ones, which is like a piano hit stab. There you go, you can hear it. It's kind of quite an important one in the drop. And it sort of does a melody with it. So that sort of like keeps the drop interesting, as you know what I mean. So oh. And then like the drums are sort of made up over here. It's going to take me too long to go into like every little bit, but the drums mainly, like the main thing for me that got the drums to sound really interesting was this one loop that I really kind of screwed up, and it gave like the whole drop a really skippy feeling. let me just find that. Here it is. So like this loop here. So this really helps with getting the energy on the drop, because it's actually, I've actually pitched it down 13.5 semitones. So if I quickly take this loop and put it back up to 0, it's like cool, but like didn't really fit what I wanted. So when I put this down 13 and then I put the tune up a little bit, it, for me, it was really, you know, really made it work. So if I add the processing back on, I took quite a bit of low end out because it conflicted with, I got, you know, it's quite a sub heavy track. And so that I'll try and bring in the drums just so you guys can get an idea of what's going on. What else we got? Oh, there's another little stab here as well. That's not going to be in. I've kind of forgotten which ones I've muted and which ones actually in the track. I don't know if I had this many. So that's it. It's kind of based around slicing up this loop here at the bottom. You see what I've done here is I've like rearranged everything, and you can see also like I've thrown a lot of the drums off grid, and the timings of them are a little bit weird, and that really allowed me to get it to lock in and be really cool. So the drums are actually pretty simple, to be honest, on this one, but it was mainly about just like taking this loop and rehashing it into something that was cooler. All right, okay. I think, to be honest, that's kind of like everything-ish. I haven't gone into too much detail because otherwise we'll be here for a few hours. But yeah, so look, if there is anything I've missed, or you want to know a little bit more about something, just drop a comment down below, and I'll hit you back and try and explain it in a little bit more detail. But yeah, cool. Well, thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you for all supporting the Generation Love EP. It's been a really cool experience to do something slightly different and put out 2 tracks instead of 1. It's the first for me. Cool. Drop your questions below and I'll hit you back. See you guys.